90 to 66 is going to leave a sour taste in your mouth. And it leaves an especially sour taste in my mouth, Tyler, because it's kind of the same things over and over. It's the lack of a post presence, the lack of a center, defensively and offensively, the lack of someone who is even 215 pounds or more. Quincy Guerrier at 220 is the strongest player, the person that weighs the most on the Syracuse team, which is unacceptable for several reasons. But the thing that really concerns me is when you look ahead to next year, and maybe at a later date and time we'll talk about whether Elijah Hughes is going to the draft. I'll spoil it a little bit. I do think he's going based on the hype that he's gotten a little bit lately. And just the fact that he is a fourth-year junior. You have to keep in mind that he transferred from ECU. He's already relatively old for what the NBA
Not a lot of fifth years getting
product.
Drafted.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Exactly. And it's a light draft this year. There's a lot of reasons why he probably will go to the draft. So if you don't have Hughes next year, when you look at next year's roster, and I agree that Quincy Guerrier is going to be good next year. I think he'll grow. I was very excited from what I've seen, even in the last couple games now. NC State, he played good. Louisville, last night, he played good. Buddy Boeheim will continue to grow. Joe Girard, I'm a huge advocate for. I think he's going to have a great 4-year career at Syracuse. But those are all backcourt players. The center problem is still going to be there next year. As of right now, they have no incoming center. I know they're after Patrick Tapie, the grad transfer from Columbia. If you don't get him, which who knows that they'll get him. I mean, on one hand, why would he come here? Because they haven't done a great job developing centers. We haven't seen one since Rakeem Christmas. But if you don't get him, the pressure is on to develop Jesse Edwards, maybe John Bolajak, because I just don't, I mean, we've seen what we're going to see from Sidibe, and that's what concerns me. They have a good backcourt. They're bringing a good backcourt back. They're going to get better. They're going to get more experience there, but I just don't think it matters because it's going to be the same problem next year. They scored 44 points in each half. They win it 88-66, 22-point win. And this is now Duke's first loss in ACC play with everyone healthy. With Wendell Moore in the lineup, this is their first loss in ACC play. So that has to count for something. That was something that Duke fans were kind of holding over everyone's head. You know, the way that Celtics fans used to say that, oh, well, when Kendrick Perkins was out, they lost. But when they had that whole starting five together, that's just a fun thing fan bases like to cling to. Now Duke fans can't cling to that. But looking at the minutes, once again, Coach K, it's just puzzling. It just feels like there's no rhyme or reason to which bench players play, and it feels like he's very much dependent on how they start the game. Matt Hurt starts this game, but he plays 9 minutes. And we've seen games where Matt Hurt has played 30 minutes, where Matt Hurt has played 25 minutes recently. I mean, he's starting, but yet some games it feels like he quickly gets in the quote-unquote doghouse.
Or foul trouble in this case. We've also seen games. 3.
Yes, he does get in foul trouble a lot, and his fouls per minute has to be up there because it's not every game, but some games, like that game against UNC, he just picked up 4 fouls in like 8 minutes, 3 fouls in this game in 9 minutes. But Jack White plays 4 minutes in this game. Some
and rightfully
games
so.
He plays 30 minutes. Yeah, and we've been calling for him to play less minutes. Maybe Coach K listens to the pod, and maybe he heard us last week. But I don't know. It feels like Duke has a larger bench than normal, and they're still, it's like an NBA team trying to find their rotation for the playoffs. Duke is still in that trial process with their bench a little bit, and Coach K is still sporadically playing these guys, big minutes some games, small minutes some games. And at some point, it feels like they just have to pick a cutoff point and play 7 or 8 guys and cut a guy out. But at the end of the day, all these guys are good, so it's a good problem to have, but also it's really causing a lot of volatility in the bench. It is indeed time for Fizz Radio. Happy to have you aboard. Tim Leonard here with you on the Score 1260 till 10 a.m. this Saturday morning, as we always are, 9 to 10 on the home of the Central New York sports fan. You can also find us via the podcast versions on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Spotify. A lot to talk about this week in the world of Syracuse sports. Does not feel like it's summertime based on all the news that has come in this week. We'll break it all down over the next hour or so. And let's start with some Syracuse football recruiting. How could we start anywhere else based on what they reeled in this past week? And it's still going here. This is recording on Thursday afternoon, but as of right now, 4 commits in the past 4 days for the Orange to bring them up to 7 total commits. What a week for Dino Babers and company to still have them slightly behind the curve, I guess, in the number of commits as related to other ACC teams. They're right around the 12-13 mark on 24/7 Sports' team rankings in the ACC with 7 commits. But you pick up 4 in 4 days, and things are trending up. They had 2 on Sunday, 2 more on Wednesday. Not really anyone that's too flashy or too sexy, no one in the 4-star range or threatening with 4 stars, but they're commits, and it's showing progress in the program that they are getting solid 3-star contributors and people that are making commits right after visiting the campus and right after getting that offer from Syracuse, which now means a lot more to these kids after a 10-3 season. And obviously, this recorded on Thursday afternoon. At this rate, there could be more commits coming in over the next couple days, and especially given the weekend that is on the horizon for Syracuse football. A ton of official visitors, an unofficial visitor, and these are those big names, those high-end 3-star guys and 4-star guys. We will dive into that later on in the show. We'll also go over Tyus Battle and O'Shea Brissett's NBA futures after the draft and get to Fizz feedback, but let's go over these 4 commits that we already know of right now. Go back to Sunday afternoon. Let's start with the 2 commits that Syracuse got on Sunday. The juiced up tweets came out for Dino Babers. Everyone got excited. We found out Leon Lowry, a defensive end that was a camp visitor not too long ago, came for that camp on the weekend of June 15th and the 16th. He committed right after coming to camp, a guy that is a quick defensive end with a very quick first step. Measures in at 6'3", 205, so definitely undersized in the weight department. But when you have height at 6'3", that projects well to the next level. And this is kind of what Syracuse is trying to get at, is get some height on the line. That's been something that the staff has definitely had in their mind going forward in the recruiting process. Obviously, Alton Robinson is going to leave after next year, after this year upcoming, as well as Kendall Coleman, and the line is somewhere where they're going to have to replenish some bodies. But Alton Robinson, a 6'4" guy that is probably going to be a draft pick next year in the NFL because of his size alone and how much he has improved since coming out of the JUCO ranks to Syracuse. So this is a line that's growing. We know there's been names in the past like a Chandler Jones here at Syracuse, but Leon Lowry, the next commit. And Lowry's someone who checks in right at that middle tier 3-star range on 247sports.com. He's got an 82.7 overall right now is his grade. So that's basically right around what the other commits are that Syracuse has gotten so far, about what the average is, honestly, for the 7 commits if you average it all up.